Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So we are back with a new topic, and the topic is marketing research. Marketing research topic is very important when we talk about coming of the questions in the examination, right? So in today's class, we'll talk about marketing research. As I usually do, that I discuss the agenda first with you. Once the agenda is clear to you as in what we are going to study today, then we'll proceed with the discussion of the class, right? So today we'll focus more on understanding the keywords, the meaning of the keywords, and what questions can come in the examination also. In between the class, in between the discussion, I will also tell you what kind of questions can come in the examination, right? So let's proceed with our class, and I will discuss the agenda first with you. So in today's class, what we are going to do is we are going to talk about marketing research. When I say marketing research, then we'll talk about the steps of marketing research, what are the process, as in what are the steps in the process of marketing research, what are the types of marketing research, what are the sources of marketing research. So we'll have a brief introduction about the marketing research, right? Then we'll come on to the elaboration of the steps of marketing research. Elaboration of the steps, firstly we'll talk about research problem in the research, and then we'll talk about the research approaches. So these are the elaboration of the research steps we are doing. We'll talk about differences in the marketing research problem and marketing decision problem, and we'll also talk about the components of research approach. Right. Then the third topic that we'll include is research design. In this, we have got a variety of research designs that we will talk about. It could be exploratory research, conclusive research, and other types of research also. And at last, we'll cover any kind of errors that happens in a research. Right. So I'm sure you are clear with the agenda. That the agenda for today's class, we'll talk about marketing research, elaborate the steps one by one, research problem, research approach, research design, and then we'll talk about the errors in research, right? So let's begin with our class today. So marketing research, right? So what does marketing research actually mean? If we divide this word marketing research, it is divided into two words, which is marketing and research. What do you mean by marketing? So what happens in marketing is, in simple words, what we are doing is we are trying to advertise our product in the best possible manner. This is what marketing is actually, right? That we are advertising our product in the best possible manner. But why marketing is done? So the major reason of doing a marketing is that we want to communicate and deliver value to our customer. So marketing is basically communicating and delivering value to the customer, right? So this is marketing. And when we talk about research, research is the search again. So there has been something and you want to know more information about it. You want to search, explore, or do a detailed study in order to look for more information. So that is called as research, right? So when I talk about marketing research, what we are doing is we are trying to find out the truth about the research. We are trying to find out the truth about the research. The truth could be problems, opportunities, risk, anything. So in marketing research, what we are going to do is we are going to find the truth about the marketing, right? We are going to find out the truth about the marketing. Before I give you the proper definition that could be asked in the examination, I would want you to know what market is all about. So when I say market, market means it talks about the consumers, it talks about the customers, it talks about the public, Also talks about the suppliers, anything that is in the market. That is called the that contains our market, which it could be our suppliers, it could be our competitive partners, it could be our product, it could be our consumer, it could be the customers, it could be the public. So this is called market. So what we are going to do in market research, when I talk about market research as per the examination point of view. So what we are going to do is we are designing, we are designing a method, we are designing a method that will gather information, that will gather information and then gather information about the market, right? To solve a specific problem. So what we are going to do, I'll repeat that for you once again. What marketing research? Please concentrate on the three keywords: design, gather, and analyze. So what we are going to do in a marketing research, I said that yes, we are going to find out the truth about marketing. How are we going to do that? Through the marketing research. What does marketing research means? That we are designing a method, to gather information. We will then analyze the information, put out the result to solve a specific problem. This is the meaning of marketing research. So how it comes in the examination? There would be a lot of definitions. What is the definition of marketing research? And there would be different keywords. All you have to concentrate which definition has got the three words that say designing a method to gather information, that information which can be analyzed to solve a specific problem, market problem. That is called a marketing research, right? This is the meaning of marketing research. In most of the examinations, you will find that there are very similar options given about the definitions. All you have to do is concentrate as in what is the exact meaning, right? Now we'll talk about the marketing research process. So the marketing research, you have understood what is the meaning of marketing research. Now we'll talk about the marketing research process. It has got steps, and by each step, I will tell you what is the meaning or what does each step stands for, right? So there are 6 steps. We need to first define the problem. We need to develop a research approach. Then we'll develop a research design. Then we'll go for data collections. Once the data collection has been done, then we will analyze the data. Once the analysis has been done, we will communicate the research findings, right? So we will go step by step so that you are able to understand properly. See, marketing research process. So the first step is problem definition. Why do we require a marketing research process? Because there has been some kind of problem and we want to solve that problem, right? That is the marketing research problem. So when I say problem definition, the first thing you need to know is that you need to define the problem. Unless and until you will not understand what the problem is, you can't proceed on with the research. You will not have a guidance as to where you have to proceed. So very important that you have to define the problem, which means that you need to understand the problem. Right. See, all of us know, once we know that what our problem is, half of the things are solved. So the first step says problem definition, which means we need to define the problem. We need to understand the problem, right? Now, how are we going to understand about the problem? How do a researcher know what the problem is? To know the problem, we need to talk to the people who are the decision makers, people who are actually facing the problem, like the manager. A manager is facing some problem. The decision maker is, facing some problem. The expert of the organization is facing the problem. So we will have a discussion with them. They are the right people who will be able to define the problem for us, right? So the step is problem definition. You need to understand what our problem is, have a competitive analysis, or you have a comprehensive analysis of what your problem is. Once your problem is known, you have known what your problem is, you will develop a research approach. When I say that you will develop a research approach, it means that you are going to look for a plan. You are going to look what your procedure would be. Right? As in what your target audience is and what your issues that need to be covered. So when I talk about developing a research plan, we have understood what our problem is, how to go about through that problem, how to go inside that problem, that is the plan. How to proceed with that problem is the procedure that helps us in the research approach. The approach, the way that we are going to research. We need to finalize our research approach, as in what are the target audience, what are the issues that will be coming. So we need to develop a research approach, right? Research approach. When I say research approach, a research approach should follow the sound theory method. Sound theory method. Sound theory is an important keyword, has been asked most of the time in examination. What do we mean by sound theory? Sound theory means what should we measure and the best possible we can communicate the measurement. Right? So problem definition has been done. We have defined the problem. We have understood what our problem is. We have now planned as in how we are going to proceed in our research. So the planning part, how we are going to proceed, we do that through the research approach, right? Now after the research approach has been defined, it has been decided that we are going to proceed in such manner. What now the next step will be developing a research design. So what happens in a research approach? It actually tells about the factors which are going to influence our research design, right? So research approach is going to talk about the factors which are going to influence the research design. The third step is research design. So when we talk about the research design actually talks about the method, the techniques, the techniques that we are going to use. So it is basically a blueprint, a framework. When we talk about research design tells us which method we are going to use, which technique are we going to use for data collection, whether it has to be a questionnaire, whether we'll go for survey. So basically what research design does is it gives us the blueprint. It gives us the framework as in how we need to proceed. Also understand the research design can only be told as in what will be our right research design basis on the nature of the problem. Suppose the problem that you have looked on for is something that you want to explore. Then the research design you will take is an explorative research design. Suppose there has been something that you need to describe. In that case, what will be the research design? Descriptive. So depending on the nature of problem, depending upon the nature of the problem, you will choose your research design, right? Research design depends on the nature of the problem. Understood? So problem definition, we have defined the problem. Research approach, I'm repeating that again for you. Research approach is the plan and the procedure. Research design, design means the method that we are going to use, the technique that we are going to use. It is the blueprint. Remember, it is the blueprint, it is the framework, and yes, it depends on the nature of the problem. Now, the next step is data collection. What we have to do is data collection. So we have decided that this is the research design we are going to follow. It could be an explorative research design. It could be a conclusive research design where we have to go for a conclusion. After that has been decided, we go for data collection. Data collection means we need to gather information about the target, about the participants. That's data collection, right? Data collection could be two types. A data collection could be of two types. Firstly, it is of primary data or a secondary data. I am not going to elaborate data as of now. I'm just telling you that in data collection, we will see that in our next further slides, what data collection, what data is all about, what are the primary data, what are the secondary data. Here, all you need to know is that data collection means information about the target, right? Primary data means it is the first-hand data. Secondary data is second hand, which means that the data that has already been used somewhere. So I am taking your interview for the first time. We are meeting for the first time. That will be a primary data because it is a first hand data. I am a researcher and I am taking your interview for the first time. I am collecting the data from you for the first time. We are meeting for the first time. It is for a new research. Then it is a primary data. When we talk about a secondary data, it means the data which has already been there. Maybe that data has been used in some kind of study. It is something which has already exists, right? Some kind of published reports, a report or a journal article. That is a secondary data. So data collection means that we need to collect information about the target. Now comes our next step is data analysis. When I talk about data analysis means that we are going to give meaning to our data. Meaning to our data. Data analysis means that we are going to give meaning to our data. As in what we are going to do, we are going to fetch useful information from the data. You have got lot of data, but there is only useful information that we are going to look forward. So data analysis means we are going to give meaning to the data. It is very important for you to maintain the accuracy of data. You should not fumble with the data, as in cheat with the data. Maybe you have not collected some data and you make the data on your own and you put that data. That should not be done. Data analysis is very important and you need to maintain, for correct findings, you need to maintain the accuracy of data. So data analysis means that we are giving meaning to our data. Once you have given the meaning to the data, what you are going to do, whatever you have found out, whatever you have searched, you are going to communicate that. This communication can be done through a written report. And in that written report, either you can use graphs, you can use videos, or you can use images, right? So what we have actually done, I'll repeat the steps so that you learn it right now. And once the class is over, you just need to revise it, right? So what we are actually doing in the marketing research process, we have got 6 steps. The first step is called the problem definition. When I say problem definition, we need to understand what our problem is. We will talk to the experts, we'll talk to the managers, we'll talk to the decision makers, and they will let us know what our problem is. Once we know what our problem is, we will fetch out a plan. We will look forward as to how we are going to proceed. That is our research approach. Once our research approach has been decided, we'll look forward towards the research design. When I say research design, we will talk about the methods and the techniques what we are going to do. Remember, the research design depends on the nature of the problem. Once we have decided that this is the particular research design we are going to follow, we'll then collect data. Collecting data means getting the information from the targets, from the participants. Once the data has been collected, what we are going to do, we are going to analyze the data. Means that we are going to give meaning to the data. Once the meaning has been given, we have found out what has been there, what is the solution, we are going to communicate that, right? So this is all about the marketing research process. I hope that the marketing research process is clear to each one of you. Now we will talk about types of marketing research. There are two types of marketing research. The first one is problem identification and problem solving. Problem identification and problem solving. So problem identification. So here the problem does not exist as of now, but yes, it might arise in the future. Marketing research divides into two, the problem identification research and the problem solving research. When I say problem identification, it means the problem does not exist. But yes, we are identifying it because it might arise in the future. When I say problem solving, it means that there is a problem that exists and we need to solve that problem. What kind of questions can come in the examination depending on the types of marketing research? So there will be no simple question that they would ask you out of these following, which are the types of marketing research, and they'll give you 4 options. The question that basically comes from the types of marketing research is the examples. So I have got a really good trick that I am going to tell you. All you have to do for types of marketing research is focus on the answers and the trick, the examples, right? So firstly, I'll talk about the problem solving. You see, problem solving, it is PS, right? All you have to remember is DPS, Delhi Public School. Remember DPS. PS is problem solving. DPS, Delhi Public School. All you have to do is D3PS. So when I say problem solving examples, it includes which kind of research? It includes the distribution research. With P, there are 3 types of P: the product, the pricing, the promotion, and with S, it stands for segmentation research. See, you don't have to dive depth into the knowledge and learn about what is distribution research, which is product research, which is pricing research, promotion research, segmentation research. The name tells it all. It is not going to be there and ask you what are the definitions, right? Distribution research is about the delivery, how it has been distributed. Product research, it is about the product. Pricing research is about the prices of the product. Promotion is about the promotion of the product. Segmentation is how the market has been segmented. All you have to do is, for the examination point of view, you need to remember which research falls under problem identification and which research falls under the problem solving. So the problem solving research, the trick is D3PS. D3PS stands for distribution research, product research, pricing research, promotion research, and segmentation research. Now comes the problem identification research. Right. So for problem identification research, you need to know the trick is miss BF, which means I miss my best friend. You need to remember I miss my best friend. So when I talk about M, there are three M. There are three M. So when we talk about M, it's market potential. It is market share. It is market characteristic. I stands for image research. S stands for sales analysis. B stands for business trends. And F stands for forecasting. There have been no questions so far, but yes, in one or two papers, there have been questions, as in they have given you 4 options and they have asked you to choose which one of them is not a problem identification example, which of them is not an example of the problem solving. So all you have to remember is the trick. For problem solving, the trick is D3PS, and the problem identification examples, these are the examples. You need to remember that I miss my best friend, right? This is the types of marketing research. Problem identification, identifying the problem. The problem does not exist, yes, but it can arise in the future. When I say problem solving research, it means that the problem that we need to solve the problem which exists. The problem is existing. So this is the types of marketing research, right? Now we'll talk about the sources of marketing research. See, what do you mean by sources of marketing research? So from where do we get our researchers understanding, right? From where do we get our sources? So sources could be sources of research, as in where are we going to get our reports, from where we are going to get our data from. That is actually the sources of marketing research. So sources of marketing research, when we talk about how are we going to get the data, we talk about 2 sources. The first one is the internal source, and the next one is the external source. Internal sources, as in somebody, the researcher who is internal to the organization, who is going to benefit from this research, is the person who is going to do the research. So it is internal to the organization, somebody who is from the organization. When I talk about external source, it means some confusion. I'll start again. Now we will talk about the sources of marketing research. When we talk about the sources of marketing research, we talk about people who are going to go for the research. Is it somebody from the internal side, or it's somebody from the external that we have hired? Is it the source is the internal data that we are using, or the sources of marketing research, which could be an external thing? So let me just help you. Let me just make you understand what we are talking about in the sources of marketing research. So when we talk about the sources of marketing research, we talk about 2 aspects. One is the internal, and it could be external. So the internal and the external. So internal is somebody who is from the organization, and these are the people who are going to get benefited, right? So sources of marketing research, somebody who is going to define our problem, somebody who is going to develop our research approach, somebody who is going to develop our research design. So when we say that somebody, it is internal, it means somebody from the organization who is a part of the organization and is going to benefit from the organization, right? When I say external, external means any outside agency. It could be any outside agency, not from the firm. We have hired somebody to do our marketing research. We have hired somebody, either it could be an individual person or it could be a firm, right? So internal from the organization, external from outside the organization, right? So sources of marketing research, we'll talk about external in general, because internal it could be inside the organization. So we do not have variety in the internal part. But when we talk about sources of marketing research in external, we have a variety of people who are going to do that for us. Any kind of external outside agency or an outside firm or an outside individual, right? So when we talk about our external sources are divided into two other parts. One is the full service providers, one is the limited service providers. So firstly, we'll talk about the full service providers. Full service providers, that I am a company, I have got some problem, and I've got a company and my company has got some problem. I don't know what the problem is. So I will go to the full service providers people. So what they will do is they will define my problem, they will give me the research approach, they will select the research design, they will collect the data also, they'll do the analysis also, and they'll just communicate that result. So they are doing everything for me. That is the full service providers. Next, we'll talk about the limited service provider. When we talk about limited service provider, limited as in I know the problem, I have developed my research approach also, I don't know which research design, or please collect the data for me. So they are not doing the full service, they are not giving me the full service, only the service that I require. That is the limited service providers. So now external sources. So external sources are divided into full service providers and the limited service providers. Full service providers, I'm repeating that again, they will give you all the services from defining the problem till the communication of the problem. All the 6 steps they are going to do for. Limited service providers, they will just give you maybe data collection techniques, maybe they'll just design the research methodology for you, or maybe they'll just analyze your data and give you the results. So full service providers and limited service providers. Now look on to the examples or the sources of full service providers. From the full service providers, we have the syndicate. What does syndicate mean? So syndicate means there is a group which is going to provide you a general pool of data. As in that data or that problem's answer or that research design which is available in the market for everyone. See, suppose one organization has got a problem as how we need to retain our employees or how we need to take care of the human resource when some kind of slack is going in the organization. So understand this problem. How we need to take care of the HR when there is slack in the organization. It could be for an FMCG firm, it could be for a cosmetic firm. So this kind of data, which is general pool of data and can be taken by any of the organization, that is called a syndicate. That is called a syndicate service. For example, and what happens is it is open in the market for everyone. This data is for everyone. It could be for a FMCG company, it could be for a cosmetic company, because everybody has got HRs, everybody has got human resources in their organization. So this data or this kind of knowledge or the research problem, the syndicate ones will be provided, which have got general pool of data for everyone. When we talk about the standardized means their process is standardized, right? Their process is standardized. I am a company A and I want to know the customer satisfaction. I deal with the shoe wears, like the footwear. I talk about I have a company which is into footwears. There is another company which is into cosmetics. They also want some details about the customer satisfaction. There's a third company which is into toiletries. They also want to know the customer satisfaction. Now the service providers, they have a standardized process. Though the results would vary, the customer satisfaction would be different for a footwear company. The customer satisfaction would be different for the cosmetic company. The customer satisfaction would be different for a toiletries company, right? The customer satisfaction, which means the result that we are going to derive for all the companies would be different, but there will be a standardized process. We have got a standardized process. The company, the service provider has a standardized process that will give you the information what you require. When we say customized, it depends on the customer's needs, client's needs. So there's a company, they say that, you need to give us, there's a problem about the preferences of the customers. There's a problem regarding the perception of the customer. There's a problem regarding what our product is going to be, which product we have to launch. Do we need to launch this product? Do we need to extend this product line? Do we need to endorse one particular celebrity for a product? So for every product or for every company, that the reasons would be customized. So there are also service providers which will look into your needs and they will give you the service as per your client needs, right? Online services. When we talk about the online services, understand, here there will be no field job, as in if you need to collect some kind of data, it will be not face-to-face interview. So online services means that there will be variety of secondary data, but not physical. This data could be from the research and development through the social marketing. Right? We have got websites through Facebook, through Twitter, through Instagram. So it will be through social websites. When we talk about the market research report and advisory, so they will give you the report that already exists, like a census report. Suppose you want a data collection, you have chosen a full service provider company and you want them to, and that company is into market research report and advisory. So whatever research they will do on the existing reports. Suppose there's a finance company, so they will look into the stock, they want some reports from the stock market. So these are the existing reports. So they will take the reports and they will advise you from the existing reports. So you understand what are the full service providers? We have the syndicate ones, which is general for everyone. So company A will be benefited from them, company B. So like my company, Human Peritus. Human Peritus give coaching or give their notes to each individual. The individuals would be different, but they have got the similar knowledge. Similar books are given to each and everyone. Syndicate means that I am a research company and I have done some research and I am going to give that research to each and every organization which requires that research. That is syndicate. Standardized means that my process is standardized. The result would be different for different organizations, but my process would be standardized. It would be same for each and every organization. When I say customize, it depends on the customer needs and the client needs. We are going to customize it. When we talk about the online services mean whatever the data collection or whatever we are going to do, it will be not through a physical mode. If it is data collection, we are not going to go in, physically mean and get the data. What we are going to do is we'll do it from the online website or the social website. The market research report and advisory, it is the ad hoc one. It is the off-shelf data, as in this has not been derived for you, but yes, it does not, we have not created that data for you, that we have reached out to people, but yes, this data already exists and that is why we are giving you the details on this data, right? So these are the external sources, full service providers. Full service providers, I told you, you only need to remember the examples like the syndicate, standardized, customized, online, market research, report and advisory. Full service providers from top to bottom, from the definition till the communication of the findings. Every service would be provided by them. Now we have limited services. Limited services, right? When we talk about the limited services, we have different limited services like field services. Field services is that only the questioning part or the interview part that is being done by them, right? Field services. Field services mean the physical. It could be any kind of interview or a focus group. So they will only provide you with the field services. They are not going to define the problem for you. They are not going to tell you which approach you should follow. They are not going to design any kind of research design for you. Only they are going to give you field services, which means the interview, anything which is like physical. When I talk about coding and data entry, so they are going to only do the data entry part. They will just code your data. As in the computer analysis, they are going to do for you. When we talk about the analytical service, they are going to prepare the questionnaire. This is also basically the data analysis. When we talk about brand marketing research, they are also going to do data collection and analysis. When we talk about the panel providers, it is going to provide you with participants, and what you have your own questionnaire. They are not preparing any kind of questionnaire. They will only just provide you with participants who will fill those questionnaires. Then we have software providers like SPSs. You have got the data. You now need to refine that data. You need to give meaning to that data. How are you going to do? You are going to use some software. So these companies will only provide you the software for data analysis. Then we have the online community providers. They are going to provide you with different qualitative and quantitative techniques. Right. Then we have online focus group and streaming. So they are going to provide you with, here I told you, physically you are going to mean the field services. Same thing that you will have participants or you will have focus group and you will be able to stream the data, but only through the online. So it will give you online results only. Last one is reporting. So you have done all your job, you have defined the approach, you have developed the approach, you have collected your data. Now you just want your reporting, a written report you want. So this will give you only that what you require. So understand, limited services, these are just the examples. I am not asking you, it is very difficult that you remember all these answers, all these examples, but you need to understand what the meaning is actually. When we talk about sources of marketing research, the sources could be internal as well as external. Internal, somebody from the organization who is going to get benefited. External could be any external agency, any external firm or any external individual. External is divided into two, full service providers and limited service providers. Full service provider will define the problem for you. They'll develop a research approach. They will design the research design. They will also collect your data and they will analyze your data and they'll give you a return report. So they'll do everything for you. Limited services will only do those things that they are into and what you have not done on yourself and you want them to do is the limited service provider. I'm sure that marketing research, the sources of marketing research is clear to each and everyone. I know it is very difficult to remember each and everything, But just try to remember the image. When you are giving the examination, just try to imagine the image that I have made. So, full service providers and the limited service providers. Right. Now we'll talk about the first step. I told you that once we are done with the sources, the types of marketing research, we will take each step. The first step is the research problem. The second step is developing the research approach. We will have a comprehensive analysis of all these, as in what is there in the research problem and what is there in the research approach. Right. So research problem and research approach. So when we talk about research problem, I already told you that we need to define the problem. We need to define the problem. We need to have a clear understanding of it. Clear understanding of the problem in order to proceed with the research. Right, research problem. Research, there's nothing as such to elaborate about the research problem. I have already told you that research problem, how we will be able to understand the problem, we need to go to the experts, we need to talk to the managers, we need to talk to the decision makers who are facing the problem. The important part in research problem is there are some kinds of keywords which have been asked in the examination which are a part of research problem. Right. So the three I will tell you about. The first one I want you to know is paradigm. What does paradigm means? So paradigm means it is the researcher's worldview. It is the researcher's worldview. How researcher looks at this thing. It means it is the blueprint or the framework of researcher. His perspective of ideas. Right. So in the basic meaning, from the researcher's point of view, what is paradigm? What in the research problem, what researcher has understood. So what is researcher's worldview? When you tell the researcher about the problem, what researchers understand? What are his ideas? That is paradigm. It is a part of research problem. It is a very important keyword. There are definitions which are given to you about the paradigm and you need to tell which is the correct information. So now you have understood what paradigm is. I'll tell you the exact definition so that you are able to understand and tick mark the right answer. So paradigm means, please write it down each and every one. You will not get this definition somewhere else, but you need to copy it from here only. So it is set of assumptions or knowledge, judgment for the problem as in where the problem is and how to consider it. Paradigm. Remember, paradigm is not the client side, it is the researcher's worldview. It is the research, what assumptions, what knowledge, what judgment he is thinking about the problem, his perspective of ideas, his set of ideas. That is paradigm. The second one is marketing research brief. Like paradigm was the researcher's perspective, his ideas, market research brief is a client document. Marketing research brief is a client document. So a brief would be given to the researcher so that he knows what is the nature of the problem. So it is a client document that has all information, client document that has all information that will help the researcher to take an appropriate course of action. Right? जब प्रॉब्लम बताएगा मैनेजर तभी तो रिसर्चर उसके ऊपर कुछ बनाएगा. So marketing research brief is from the client side. It is a client document which has got all the information which is going to help the researcher to take a proper course of action. That is a marketing research brief. So when we understood paradigm, it is from the researcher's end. When we talk about the marketing research brief, it is from the client side. Right? The third one is very important. Please look into this. It is the research proposal. Once the marketing brief is shared with the researcher is going to make a research proposal. What kind of question come in exam for research proposal? They will give you number of steps, the name of the steps, and they will ask you whether this step is a part of research proposal or not. N number of times, N number of examinations, this question has been repeatedly asked. I will request you, each one of you, to please remember the steps. At least have a view what are the steps of research proposal. Not the steps, but yes, the components of research proposal. Right? Please take the notes of all the research proposal components. So we have the executive summary, the background information, then we have the problem definition, the research objective, research design, field work and data collection, we have data analysis, we have reporting, we have cost and timetable, research organization and researchers, and we have appendices and agreement. These are the components of research proposal. So what happens in the research proposal? I don't know if anybody of you is somebody who has done a PhD. So what we actually do is once we know what our problem is, or we know that this is our research what we are going through, we prepare a document which will have a research proposal. This is what I am proposing. That this is the particular research design. This is how I'm going to collect my data. This is how I'm going to analyze my data. This is the amount of money which I am going to invest. It will take me 2 to 3 years to come to this problem, to get the solution of this problem. What is the research organization? I have to take their name. Who are there the researchers with me? There will be an agreement. There will be appendices which will have all the details. So very important for you to learn about the research proposal, the components of research proposal. Like I said, many times in the examination, what they do is they will they have got few steps. They will write 1, 2, 3, 4 in the research design. They will add something and they'll ask you which one of them is not a part of, is not a component except this, or what they'll do is just put research design and some answers, and also they'll ask you which one of them is the component of research proposal or which one of them is not the component of research proposal. This is a very important question. I would request each one of you again, please remember the components of the research proposal, right? Executive summary, background information, problem definition, research objectives, research design, fieldwork and data collection, data analysis, reporting. Not to forget, cost and timetable will be there in the research proposal because it is proposing. You're not doing the research now. You are just proposing. We'll talk about research organization and researcher, and appendices and the agreement. These are very important, these four. People get confused in these four only. So please remember this, right? So research problem, we talk about, in the research problem, we talk about three important keywords. The paradigm, which is the researcher's worldview, their set of ideas and their perspective. Then we talked about the marketing research brief, which is a client document that has all the information that helps the researcher to take a proper course of action. Paradigm from the researcher's end. Then we have got a marketing research brief from the client end, and then the research proposal again from the researcher, right? Now what we are going to do is, now we'll understand the difference between marketing decision problem and marketing research problem. Marketing decision problem and marketing research problem. We need to understand what are the differences. If you see the word decision problem and research problem, when we have a decision problem, then we are going to look for a researcher. When we look for that researcher and he might, or that organization may face any kind of problem, that is a marketing research problem. So you understand what the concept says. The concept says that the marketing research problem is a restatement of marketing decision problem from the researcher's perspective. See, understand, I'm repeating that again for you. You won't have a marketing research problem unless and until there's a marketing decision problem. A marketing decision problem has occurred. You have requested a marketing research agency to do the marketing research for you, and now they are facing a problem, right? So marketing research problem is actually a restatement of the marketing decision problem from the researcher's perspective. I will give you a very good example for it so that you are able to understand. Once the example is clear to you, then I can let you some of the points from the marketing decision problem and some of the points from the marketing research problem. See, understand, I am a company, I have got a company, and that company has thought of diversifying their product line. There's a certain product we sell and we want to diversify our product line. Now, do we diversify our product line or do we not? That's a marketing decision problem. One example. Second example is, I have a new product that we have launched, but I want that product to be endorsed by a celebrity. So which celebrity should I go for, or should I go for a celebrity endorsement or not? That is a decision problem. What would be a researcher problem with respect to these decision problems? So when I say that I want to extend my product division line, the researcher problem would be, do their products are doing good? Do their existing products are doing good in the market? Is the existing product or the existing customer behavior towards them is good? Whether they will extend it, how are they going to extend it, whether it is going to work for the customers, will it be valuable to the customer, will it create a value? That's a researcher problem. Second, when I said I want to endorse my product through a celebrity, researcher problem through the researcher end is has this celebrity endorsed some other products? Has this celebrity got lot of followers who are going to look or follow him? Right? Has this celebrity endorsed a product? What product is that? How is that product doing in the market? That is the research problem. Understand? We have a decision problem. Once we look into the decision problem, we have a research problem. When we collaborated, My decision is whether I should go for an endorsement by a celebrity. That is a marketing decision problem. Marketing research problem would be, should I go for a celebrity? Should I go for this celebrity? Has this celebrity got followers? So you understand what the relation between the marketing decision problem and marketing research problem is. Marketing research problem is nothing but a restatement of the marketing decision problem from the researcher's perspective. Right. Now, I'll just write some points that you need to take care of. Right. Marketing decision problem. It evaluates what decision maker needs to do. And here, researcher problem, what information is required to support the marketing decision. मुझको एक सेलिब्रिटी चाहिए जो मेरे प्रोडक्ट को एंडोर्स करेगा. कौन सा सेलिब्रिटी लूं? दैट्स माय डिसीजन प्रॉब्लम. आई डोंट नो विच सेलिब्रिटी. उस सेलिब्रिटी के बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन कि ये सेलिब्रिटी हमें चूज करना है नहीं करना है, इसके फॉलोअर्स है नहीं है, उसका इंफॉर्मेशन सपोर्ट करेगा हमारे मार्केटिंग डिसीजन को. सो इट इज गोइंग टू टेल अस व्हाट डिसीजन मेकर नीड्स टू डू. Marketing research problem is going to provide you with the information that is going to support the marketing decision. So this is going to be action oriented and this is the information oriented. It will focus on the symptoms like whether our product will do good after getting endorsed by a celebrity. Symptoms, we are talking about the symptoms, and here it focus on the causes, whether that celebrity has got followers, whether people follow that celebrity, right? Focus on the causes. This is a basic difference between the marketing decision problem and marketing research problem, right? Now we will talk about the components of research approach. So what we have done till now is we have talked about the sources of we have talked about marketing research process, the types of marketing research. We have talked about different sources, the internal, the external sources, right? Then we have talked about the important keywords like paradigm in the research problem, marketing research brief, research proposal. Then once we are done with that, we have talked about the marketing decision problem and marketing research problem. Now, the problem part is done, the research problem. The second step was developing the research approach. How are we going to develop the research approach? So, the research approach has got some steps. The components. Components of research approach are, we need to develop a theoretical framework. We need to have analytical models, we need to have research questions, and we need to have the hypothesis, right? So we'll talk about the objective of the theoretical framework first. What is a theoretical framework or what is the objective? So what do you mean by theory? Theory means existing knowledge. I don't have to repeat myself. You all know what does research approach means. Research approach means the path we are going to follow, the procedure that we are going to take for our research. That is the research approach. So when we talk about the objective or the theoretical framework, see, theoretical framework means it is derived from the word theory, which means the existing knowledge. So what we are actually going to do, we are reviewing all existing theories so that we can connect it with our research. We need to have a background. We need to frame a objective, as in what we are going to do, a theoretical framework. We need to review all the existing theories and connect it with our research. Let's help you with an example, make you understand with the help of example. I have decided that for my retail store, I need to have a background color, right? So which background color should I choose? Should I choose red? Should I choose a multicolored, or should I choose orange? So that's something I want to understand. I want to choose, but I have no idea. So what I'm going to do is I will I will study all the theories about different colors which have got a relationship with the background. So I will talk about, or I will look for all the theories that have been established about the effect of colors on the background, right? When I have read all those theories, then I will come to a decision which background color would be suitable for my retail organization. So what I have done is I have objectified, or I have created a theoretical framework that is how I have to go. So theory means the existing knowledge. What we do in a theoretical framework is we review all the existing theories, we connect with our research so that we can come to a fundamental conclusion, right? The second one is the analytical models. When we talk about analytical models, we talk about setting or set of variables and their relationship. Right? Set of variables and their relationship. I give you an example of effect of color on the background. So effect of color on the background. Color and background are my two variables. What is their relationship? So analytical model will always tell you what are your variables and their relationship. For example, effect of salary on the effect of compensation on the employee performance. So what we are seeing is there a positive relationship? Is there a negative relationship? What are our variables? Variables are this compensation, the salary part, and the performance. So what does the analytical model do? These are the set of variables and the relationship between them. See, analytical models can be of three types. One is verbal. Verbal is like the way I said. It is in the form of prose, like I said. Effect of compensation on the, I've written it, effect of compensation on performance. So relationship, if we increase the compensation, will the performance increase? If we lower down the compensation, whether the performance will remain same or decrease. So it is telling the relationship between the compensation and performance. Verbal means the prose form, as in the words, effect of compensation on performance. The other one is graphical. Graphical is wherein we create circles and nodes and edges. We connect them. Like we have a compensation. We don't write. So it is compensation and it is performance. We have a graphical representation of our analytical model, right? Effect of compensation on the performance. If we have got other variables, suppose job satisfaction. So we'll do it right. Effect of compensation via job satisfaction on performance. It's a graphical method. You are not writing anything, but it is graphics. The next one is numerical, or we call it mathematical. So it is the equation form. So in a research approach, what we do is we firstly make a theoretical framework and then we create analytical models. Once the analytical models are done, we'll go for the research question. Now, what are research questions? See, research questions is basically the breakdown of our problem. Problem is a broad view. Problem is a broad view, right? So, example, effect of divorce on the children. What do you understand by this? So it is a written statement. You don't know what is there in it, what we need to look forward. So when we break down the problem into different things that we need to answer are the research questions. Here what we do is we break down the problem into research questions and we look for information on the research question. We need to answer the research questions, right? So for example, like I said, example, effect of divorce on children. I will then divide it into research questions. Like, for example, do children who witness divorce have no healthy relationship in their life? Or do children who witness divorce have got less academic score? Do children who witness divorce have a violent relationship or violent behavior? These kind of questions. So problem is the broad view. What we do is we divide or we break down we call it breakdown, not divide. We break down the problem into research question for which we are looking for the responses. So we need to have research questions in order to solve a problem. Then we need to create a hypothesis. What is hypothesis? Once the research questions have been established, we'll create a hypothesis. Hypothesis is basically assumptions. Please understand the keywords. There could be questions asked on assumption. What do you mean by assumption? Is it a research question or is it a research design or is it a hypothesis? There have been questions asked in the previous examination. So it is an assumption. It is an unproven statement. It is an unproven. It is a proposition. It is a proposition. Now, for example, I have proposed that sugar diets or sugar drinks result into obesity. That's just a proposition. Whether it is true or not, how I'll do it, I'll collect the data and then I will see what the data tells me, and then this hypothesis can be tested and see if that is true or not. Right? So it is basically an assumption. It is basically an unproven statement. It is a proposition that need to be tested in order to find it is true or not. Right? So this is hypothesis. These are the 4 components of research approach. Please remember, firstly, we need to have a theoretical framework. We need to create a theoretical framework. We need to connect the existing theories with our new current research so that we can have a background. We need to have analytical model. Whatever our research problem is, we need to have a set of variables and we need to have a relationship between them. Then we need to have research questions. Research question is what? It is the breakdown of the research problem. Research problem is the broader view. Research questions are the simpler breakdown statements for which we are going to seek the information. Then we have the hypothesis. Based on the research question, we will we'll create a hypothesis which we are going to test whether it is true or not, whether the effect of salary is positive on performance or whether it is not. So we'll create hypothesis, right? These are the components of research approach. Now, after the research problem, the first step is done. The second problem was research approach. We have talked about the components of research approach. Now we'll move to the third part, which is the research design. Okay. So research design, like I said, we'll talk about the different techniques and methods. We'll talk about different techniques and methods. Techniques it could be techniques for data collection or the methodology we are going to do. So basically research design is the framework, as in how we are going to collect the data basically, right? Okay, so we'll talk about the research design. So when I say research design, we have got exploratory research, The research design is divided into exploratory research, conclusive research, and then conclusive research is divided into descriptive research and causal research. See, the research design, we have exploratory research, we have conclusive research. The conclusive research is divided into descriptive research and causal research. The descriptive research is then divided into cross-sectional research and longitudinal research. The cross-sectional is divided into single cross-sectional and multi-cross-sectional. So we will understand it one by one. So research design, the first one is the exploratory research. When do we use a exploratory research? So basically we use a exploratory research when we have no knowledge, when there is very limited information available, when we have no knowledge and when we have limited information. So understand what exploratory research is going to do. It is going to just help you understand the problem. Limited information, no knowledge, no background information, and it will help you just to understand the problem. Very important point that you have to remember in the exploratory research, that you are not going to come to a conclusive result. It is not going to give you a conclusive result. What you are going to do is you are only going to find out the hidden facts. You are going to uncover the hidden facts. Explore. You are going to explore something which does not exist, something maybe, there is no knowledge or very little knowledge available. So what you are basically doing is you are understanding the problem here, but not coming to a conclusive result. For example, there is a murder. There's a murder that has happened. Right. Now you have no knowledge about that matter. You have to start from scratch. Right. You have to start from scratch, as in how to proceed, what is the thing that has been used to do the murder, whether it is a bat or whether it is a knife. So all these research, you have no information about it. So what you will do is you will understand the problem. How was the murder done? You might not come to a conclusive result. So here what you are doing in exploratory research, you are just exploring what is the viewpoint. When we say exploratory research, there could be another example for it. See, I have got a juice company, right? I want to, any which way, I just want that my customers should get increased who come to drink juice at my juice parlor. Now, what is the reason how my customers is going to increase? Whether I need to change my seating arrangement or make seats available, more seats available, or do I need to have a variety of juices? Do I increase the variety of juices? Or, do I change my location where the customers would come? So I don't know how my customers are going to get increased. I have no idea. I'm just exploring. I'm not coming to a conclusive result, but I am just exploring as in what I need to do so that my customers get increased. That is the exploratory research, right? The other one is the conclusive research. Like I said, exploratory research, there is no conclusive result. In the conclusive research, what we do is we come to a conclusion. We come to a conclusion. We have decided to do the research and there is a conclusion that we are going to come to. That is the conclusions. We are going to come to the results, right? The exploratory research, what it is doing to, it is just understanding the phenomena. What we are doing is understanding the phenomena. It is not giving you any kind of results. But when we talk about the conclusive research, it is coming to the conclusion. It is going to, the results. So what here, understand what you're doing is understanding the phenomena. You're not doing anything but understanding the phenomena. You are understanding the phenomena. But in the conclusive result, like I said, you are measuring the phenomena. You are measuring the phenomena. When I say you are measuring the phenomena, that means you will describe the phenomenon, you will test the hypothesis, and you will also examine the result. Right? Exploratory research, you just understand the problem, you just understand the phenomena. Conclusive research, you come to a conclusion. In the exploratory research, you do not come to any kind of conclusion, right? That's the difference between the exploratory research and the conclusive research. Now, conclusive research has got subparts. One is the descriptive research and the other one is the causal research. We'll first talk about the descriptive research. Like the word says, descriptive, which means that we are describing something. We are describing something. Describing as it exists. So what you do is, what is happening is what you are telling. You are not telling why is it happening. You are just telling what is happening. So rain occurred. So you are telling that rain has occurred, right? There is a traffic going on the roads. You just tell them the traffic is going on the roads. You are not telling why the traffic has occurred. You are just telling what is happening. Descriptive. You are just describing the situation as it exists. The second part is the causal research. Why I'm writing it here, it will come at the end, but I'm writing it here so that we can have a difference between the descriptive research and causal research. Causal research is going to tell you about the cause and effect. It is going to tell you about the cause and effect. When I say cause and effect, it means why something has happened and what happens as a result of it. Right. Descriptive research, you are just describing the things, the affairs, how they exist, what is happening, just. You are not giving an answer, why is it happening? But when you talk about the causal research, it talks about the cause and effect, as in why something has happened, what happens as a result of it. For example, take an example of, you have got examination, right? Examination, you work hard and you become a topper. So why something has happened, why you worked hard? Because there were examination. What happened as a result of your working hard? You became a topper. Understand the example? So it tells you about the cause and effect, right? There were examination, you worked hard and you became the topper. Why something has happened? Why did you work hard? The reason was because there were examination. What happened as a result of the working hard? You became a topper. So this is a basic difference between the descriptive research and causal research. When I say descriptive research, you are just describing the situation as it exists. What is happening? You are not telling why is it had happened, right? Now, descriptive research, we have got other 2 points which we need to take care of. The different types of descriptive research. Different types of descriptive research. Give me a second. Just remove this from here so that we have a lot of space here. So, descriptive research is then divided into cross-sectional research and longitudinal research. And then the cross-sectional is divided into single cross-sectional and multi-cross-sectional. Now, what is cross-sectional research and longitudinal research? Cross-sectional research means that we are taking sample from population only once. Only once.
आपने एक बार डेटा लिया, आपका काम हो गया. Sample from the population only once. When we talk about longitudinal research, we say longitudinal research. In the longitudinal research, we have same person or same participant from whom we seek the data for a longer period of time. Longitudinal research, remember it as bachpan se pachpan. Like there is a guy called Yash, and we need to keep a track record of his height from 8 years to till the time he is 15, right? So every year we are measuring the height of Yash. Same participant, we have taken his height in the year 2001. We have measured his height in the year 2002, 2003, 2004. So understand, same participant, longer period of time. That is the longitudinal research. When we talk about the cross-sectional research, it is the sample from population only once. Like once a year, we have done it. We are not taking it every year. That is how divided into cross-sectional is single cross-sectional and multi-cross-sectional. Single cross-sectional means from one person, from an individual. Multi cross-sectional means from many people, from two or more, right? From one sample. Single means one sample, and multi-cross means many, right? So in the descriptive research, what we do is we describe the situation, right? When I said that we are in the longitudinal research is a part of descriptive research. So we are recording the height of a person called Yash, right? So we're just describing his height. The height is 5.0. Why his height has increased, right? We are not going into that. Why his height has increased? His height has increased and he's now playing basketball. We have no relationship. What we are doing is we are simply recording his height. To descriptive research, what happens in descriptive research is we just state the affairs as they exist. What is happening is what we describe. Descriptive research is divided into cross-sectional research and longitudinal research. Cross-sectional research is sample from the population only once. Longitudinal research says same participant, longer period of time. You need to record the weight of a person from 1995 till 2000. So every year the weight changes. First year 1995, there's a certain weight. 55 kgs. 1996, there's a certain weight. Same participant. So you are calculating or you are measuring the weight of the participant Yash for 1991 also, for 1992 also, for 1993. So it is happening over a longer period of time. Cross-sectional, when we are using only one sample, is single cross-sectional. When we are using many samples, then it is a multi-cross-sectional, right? Now, I told you about the causal research. Like descriptive research only talks about the what. Causal research talks about cause and effect. It talks about the cause of effect. Why something has happened and what is the result of that has happened. What we say? Why something has happened and what is the result. Cause and effect. Like I said, you worked hard because there were examination, and because you worked hard, you became a topper. I think the research design is clear to each one of you. Just repeating that so that what happens in revision, when I teach you, when I revise it for you, I remember that, these are the things that I have not missed, and you remember it because I am doing it for you, right? So exploratory research, we only explore, we only understand the phenomena, we only understand the phenomena, right? When we talk about the conclusive research, we come to a conclusion. We measure the phenomena. We test the hypothesis. We define the phenomena. We examine the result. Exploratory research has got no subheadings. When we came to the conclusive research, we have got descriptive research, we have causal research. Descriptive research, describe as it is, what is happening. Causal research, cause and effect, why something has happened, and as a result of it, what has taken place, right? Descriptive research is cross-sectional, wherein there is Sample from a population only once. If it is one sample, we'll call it single cross-sectional. If it is multi-cross-sectional, then it will be many samples. When we talk about the longitudinal research, we talk about the same participant for a longer period of time, right? I hope that it is clear to you, and I have given you very simple examples so that you remember. Now, there is one question I've seen that comes in most of the examination, and it talks about cohort analysis. So cohort analysis is a cross-sectional. We call it as a multi-cross-sectional research. Cohort analysis, how this question comes in the examination is they ask you to choose what is cohort analysis. So cohort analysis, like I said, it is a part of the multi-cross-sectional area. So cohort means a group of people. So a group of doctors, a group of smokers. So, understand people who have got some kind of similarities. Either they have similar characteristics or some similarity is there between them. That is we call as cohort, is a group. Now, why it is called a multi-cross section? I'll give you an example. In most of the most of the coaching centers, they also tell you that cohort analysis is a type of longitudinal research, which is completely wrong. I don't want to name which all institutes have said or which of the institute have marked this answer that cohort analysis is a longitudinal research. I will explain it to you why it is not a longitudinal research and why is it a multi-cross section. See, cohort, you have understood the meaning. Now, there's a group. I want to do a research, and the research says that you need to understand the drinking pattern of people aged between 8 to 9 years for 30 years. This is just an example, okay? Example to prove you why it is not a longitudinal research and why it is a multi-cross sectional, right? So see, we need to understand the drinking pattern of children who are 8 to 19 years, right? Between the age group of 8 to 19 years, but we have to do this research for 30 years. When I say 30 years, you will say that it is, first year, second year, it has to be a longitudinal research. But no, understand why. 8 to 19 years. Every time, every 10 years, the participant would change. See, 10 years happened, this 8 years guy would be 18 years, 11 years, 19 years. Now it 8 years. So after 30, when we'll take the data for 30 years, this particular person who is 8 years of now will not be a participant. So participant will keep on changing. I just said that I want participant from the age group of 18 to 8 to 19. Somebody who's 19 right now, I have taken his or her data. Next year it will be 20. So this participant I am not going to use. There will be another person who is 19 years old. Now you understand? The participant is changing. Wherein I told you in longitudinal research, participant remains the same and it happens for a period of time. Here what is happening? I want to do a research, right? But the group is people 8 to 19 years. People who are born between 1990 and 1989. Right? Now I have to do it for 10 years, 30 years, 40 years. The participant would keep changing every 10 years, every 11 years. That is one of the major reasons that this cohort analysis is not considered a longitudinal research. It is considered a multi-cross-sectional research. Yes, I understand that it is a longer period of time, 30 years, but understand every 10 years, every 11 years, the participant is changing, right? And wherein the longitudinal research says that the same participant over a longer period of time. Please remember, cohort analysis is an example of multi-cross-sectional. So now we have talked about the research design, different type of research design. At times there are questions that are asked on other types of research. So we will also talk about the other types of research, right? So other types of research that includes, we have basic research, we have applied research, we have advocacy research, we have pseudo research, right? Basic research. Basic research is also called as fundamental research or a pure research. So there have been no existing theories. This research is basically to gain the, for the sake of knowledge. You are just gaining the knowledge. You are just going to gain the knowledge, right? What you're doing is you're just gaining the knowledge. You do not have any point of doing what? Like you do not want to come to a conclusion. There is no problem that you need to solve. That this is done basically for the sake of knowledge. That is the basic research. It is also called as pure research. We also call it as a fundamental research. Now we have applied research. So like I said, basic research, what we are doing is we are creating a theory just for the knowledge. That theory, when we use that theory and solve something, that is an applied research. So what we do is we utilize the theory for a immediate problem, right? Advocacy research. Advocacy research is when we want to claim a support for a legal action. What we do is support a specific claim in legal action. Like you give evidences at court. That's an advocacy research. Basic research, applied research, advocacy research, pseudo research. Pseudo research means no genuine research. You're not doing any kind of research. It's a false research. You already have your decision that is made, and now you are giving evidences just to satisfy that particular decision. So actually you are not doing any kind of research. The decision has already been made. You have come to the conclusion already. You have already come to the conclusion. Now you are just giving statements just to justify that particular research. So how does these come to our examination? That they will ask you that, this is the basic which of them is the basic research? This can comes in the cross questions, right? You have given some points, basic research, and you need to do the match the following. So basic research is just for the sake of knowledge. Here we are just creating theory. In the applied research, we use the theory that has been produced in the basic research for an immediate problem. Advocacy research, advocacy. Remember, advocate, legal action. Pseudo research means there is no genuine research and there is no genuine research that you are doing. It is just that you are going to justify a decision or a conclusion. This is other types of research. Now the last part is errors in the research. See, there are a lot of errors that happens in research. I know I've taken a lot of time, so I'll quickly wind it up for you. Errors in research. When we talk about errors in research, there are two types of errors. One is the sample error. One is the non-sampling error. What is the sample error and what is the one is the non-sampling error. Sample error means whenever there is a sample, the sample has given responses or you have chosen a wrong sample. The sample is not from the population that you are looking forward. Anything which is related to the sample of the population, it is a sample error. Non-sampling errors could be any other error, like there is error in the data collection, there is error in the questionnaire. So this is the sampling error and the non-sampling error. All right. Sampling error and the non-sampling error. The sampling error is also called as a random error. And it is other errors. Other errors. Like I said, sample error could be anything related to the sample. Maybe you have not selected the right sample. Right sample not selected. Or the sample that you have selected does not perfectly fit the population. Like I said, this could be in the questionnaire, any problem which is apart from, except from the sample. Questionnaire, or you have duplicated response. Right? That is the non-sampling error. When we talk about the non-sampling error, oh, just a second, what has happened? Right. When we talk about the non-sampling error, in the non-sampling error, we have no response error and response error. No response error, as in you have not responded. The person from which we need to seek the response was not available. You are not at home. Not at home. Not available. We are unable to contact you. This means no response has been given. Response error is response have been given but inaccurate response. Maybe the response that have been given to you, you have misanalyzed it. You have misreported. To understand? There could be two types of error in the research. It could be a sample error or a non-sampling error. Sample error is when you have not corrected a right sample or the sample is not perfectly fits the population. That is the sample error. Any error which is apart from the sample, which is not from the sample, is a non-sampling error. Any error while preparing a question, while representing the answer, while doing an analysis, duplication of answer, any error which is not according to the sample or which is not related to the sample will come under the non-sampling error. Now, non-sampling error also divided into two parts: no response and response error. No response, the person that you were trying to take the response from is not at home, not available, unable to contact. No response, there is an error because you might answer all those questions on your own, right? Response error, the response has been given to you, but either the inaccurate response, like you ask me which magazine do you read, and I tell you The Economist. Just to impress you, I have told you. So maybe I don't read, so it is an inaccurate information that I've given. Or maybe I have given you the right answer or right information, but you misanalyzed it or you misreported it. So these are the two types of error: the sample error and the non-sampling error. Right. Now, from the error, we will talk about errors that can be made by the researchers. Right. So we have surrogate information error, we have measurement error, we have population definition error, we have sampling frame error, and we have data analysis error. Surrogate information error, it means that you need information about something else and you are asking something else. What you actually require and what you are seeking. So here what is there? There is discrepancy in information. Discrepancy in information. You want to know something about footwear, but you are asking question as if it is related to cosmetics. You want to ask questions about headphones, but you are asking questions about laptops. So there is discrepancy in the information, what you actually require and what you are seeking. That is a surrogate information error. The second was a measurement error. So what the information is being given to you, what information you require and what is being generated. For example, that there is a weighing machine, right? The weighing machine has the the needle of the weighing machine has to be on 0. But what if it is on 1? There will be a measurement error. You want a correct weight, but since there is a measurement error of 1, if your weight is 55, it is obviously going to show 56. Measurement error, which is variation between what information is sought and what is generated. There is a difference, right? Then we have population definition error. We have population definition. You don't know which population that you have to take the sample from. So you have no idea who to survey. You wanted to take the sample from villagers, but you have taken it from the urban people. So you have no idea who to survey. That is the population definition error. Sampling frame error. It is similar to population definition error, but sampling error means that sample is selected from wrong population. Population is urban population, but you had to take the sample of the children, but you have taken the sample of the adults. So what is then? You have taken a wrong sample from the population. Population, you entirely don't know which population, urban population or the rural population. You wanted to take it from the rural population, but you have taken from the urban population. Sampling, you have to take the sample from the wrong population. The population you wanted to choose was urban population, but it has to be somebody taken from the children, but you have taken it from the adults. So when it comes to the sample, it is the sampling frame error. When it is the wrong population you have taken, it is the population definition error. The one is data analysis. So data analysis error is misrepresenting. So when you analyze the data, and you do not have complete data, you fabricate the data, and the research findings are not sure of. So these are the researcher. When the person who is doing the research can do such kind of errors. These are the errors made by the researcher. Now, there could be errors made by the interviewer also. Somebody who is taking the interview. It could be errors. They can also do errors, sometimes of error. So participant selection error. I have, in my research design, I have mentioned that this is the participant I am going to use, but I am using a different participant. So you use a participant who is not mentioned in your research design. Right? Then we have the question error. You want to ask something and you ask something else. So you have not framed the question correctly. Right? You have not put the question into proper words. And that is the reason you wanted to ask something else and you have asked something else. Right? So it means question was not framed correctly. Right? Then we have recording error. Recording error is you heard something else, you recorded something else, and that is why you interpreted something else. So, heard something, recorded something, and interpreted something. So, this is not the problem with the participant. It is the problem with the interviewer because he has given the right answer, but you have done the recording wrongly. Then is the cheating error. Cheating error is you fabricate. Cheating error is you fabricate the answers. You have been sent to take an interview, but you have some other work. On your personal experience and what you feel, you have fabricated. You have put down the survey. You have taken the poll. You have given the interview on your own. You have described the answers on your own. That is a cheating error that can be done by the interview. So participant selection error, you have chosen the wrong participant. You had to choose someone else and you have chosen someone else. Question error, not ask the question in a proper manner or the right word so that the respondent can give a right answer. Recording error, you have heard something else, you have recorded something else, and you have interpreted something else. Cheating error, that you have fabricated the answers on your own. That is meant by the error made by the interviewer. Now, the last part is the error made by the participant. So when we talk about the error made by the participant, it could be two. It could be inability error and it could be unwillingness. When we talk about the inability error, it means that you are either unfamiliar with the topic, maybe because of boredom, you are bored and you did not feel like giving the answer, or maybe you are not able to recall. Inability. It is not genuinely that you are doing that mistake, right? That's an error that has occurred because of your inability. So this is inability error. Then we talk about unwillingness, which is a genuine, intentional error. Inability error is not an intentional error. Unwillingness is an intentional error. You misrepresent your answer. You give socially acceptable answers. Like I said, unwillingness is intentional. You ask me which magazine do you read, Latika, and I'll say I read Economist. Maybe I don't. I just want to impress you. So that is a error because I've given a wrong information. So two types of error by the participant. That is inability error when you are not unfamiliar with the topic. It could be through boredom. It could that you are not able to recall. This is non-intentional. And unwillingness is the intentional one. So this is all for today's class. What we have done is, I'll just repeat that for you. Right. So we have talked about marketing research. I told you about the marketing definition. You just need to remember the keywords: designing, gather, and analyze. Right. We talked about marketing research process, definition, then research approach, research design, data collection, data analysis, and communicating the research findings. I told you about the differences between the types of marketing research: problem identification, problem solving. Please remember repeating that again for you. There could be examples from this. Remember the tricks. We talked about sources of marketing research, internal and external, from the organization and outside the organization. External, then we have some full service providers who is providing all kind of services to us, from developing the research design till from defining the problem till the communication of the problem. There were limited service providers. They were providing us services which were limited to them, or the services that we only require. Then we talked about elaborating each and every step. Research problem, we talked about paradigm, we talked about market research brief. I told you about research proposal. Very important, please look into the components of the research proposal. I talked about marketing decision problem and marketing research problem. Please remember the example of in celebrity endorsement. Then you will be able to understand what I talked about. We talked about the components of research, the 4 components. We talked about different research designs, the exploratory, conclusive. We talked about other types of research, and then the errors in research, right? So let's start with the practice questions. So the first question is, data collected in a standard format and made available to all the subscribers is shared data, standardized services, syndicated data, and primary data. See, I have already told you that data which is given that's a general pool of data, and it is made to all the subscriber, that is the syndicated data. So the correct answer is Syndicated data, that's option number C. The next question is, which of the following is the first step in starting the research problem? So we all know that the first step is that we need to identify the problem. Unless and until we are able to identify the problem, we cannot proceed with the further steps. So the answer to this question is option number C. Identification of problem. What is the last step in the marketing research process? See, remember we had 6 steps. We need to first identify the problem. Then secondly, we had the research approach, then research design, then data collection, then analysis of data, and the last one was prepare and present the final research report. Remember, you are not implementing any kind of recommendations, right? So the last step would be option number B, which is prepare and present the final research report. Preliminary research undertaken to gather background information and gather data pertinent to the, pertinent to the problem area that may be helpful in properly defining the problem is. What do we do? So whenever we do any kind of preliminary research, what are we doing is we are analyzing the situation, right? There has been nothing like prognosis, a preview research or an assessment. What are we doing is we are analyzing the situation so that we can gather data relating to the problem, right? So the answer here would be option number D. That is situational analysis. The next question is hypothesis. We need to test the hypothesis, right? Hypothesis was what? It was a presumption. It was an assumption, right? A statement which we had to prove true. So understand, it is a very, even eventually if you don't know the answer, but anything which is complex or complicated would be an answer? No. So even if you do not know what hypothesis is and just using your common sense also, you can pick the answer that it should be simple, clear and specific. See, all the other 3 options have got complex and complicated word, right? So here the option would be a hypothesis should be conceptually simple, clear and specific. That's option number C. Which of the following is not a component of research proposal? See, for the research proposal, I had given you a list of components, right? So tell me, executive summary was a part of it, background was a part of it, reporting was a part of it or not, or problem audit was the which one of them was a part of it or not? So for that you have to, I told you while I was talking about the components of research proposal that you need to have a clear indication of what are. See, all these 4 are very close to each other in the options if we consider them, right? So the right answer would be problem audit. Executive summary, background and reporting are one of the 9 to 10 components that I have told you. Please go through those components again and again. I'm repeating this question for you because this question has been asked in multiple of question papers, right? So please remember what are the components of research proposal. The next one is cohort analysis is a type of which of the following. So while I was teaching you the cohort analysis, I gave you an example of that we require a data for 30 years and that includes children from the age group of 8 to 19 years. And I told you that every 10 years the age would be different. So it is not an option of longitudinal design. It is not an example of longitudinal design, but yes, it is an example of multiple cross-sectional design. When I was teaching you cohort analysis, I also repeatedly said that in most of the books or most of the tutors, they will tell you that it is an example of longitudinal design. No, it is not. The correct answer for cohort analysis is multiple cross-sectional design, because in the longitudinal design, it is always that the sample is the same. But in multiple cross-sectional design of cohort analysis, the sample changes, right? So the correct answer would be here, multiple cross-sectional design. Unwillingness error is related to which of the following? It is not to the interviewer. It is not with the decision maker. It is not with the researcher. When the participant is not willing to provide you the answer correctly, then it is the unwillingness error. I told you the unwillingness error, it could be that you are not willing to do that, right? It is the answer is participant, when you are feeling bored or you do not want to give the correct answer. So it is related to the participant. So that's all for today's class. So we had talked about different stages of marketing research. We talked about some pointers regarding to marketing research, right? And we had taken the detailed analysis of steps one by one. We talked about the research approaches. We talked about the research design that we are going to follow, right? And then we had completed some of the questions. These questions have been repeatedly asked in other examinations related to marketing research. So what you can do is, please go through the things that I have taught you today, make a pointer on everything, every note, see, right? And then if you have any query regarding to the questions that we have discussed today, or anything, related to the content that I have told you, please write back to us at contact@humanperitus.com. Any questions from your end, we'll be able to help you with that, right? So thank you for today's class, and we will continue with the next topic in the next class, right? From here only. Thank you.